Now that Manchester United have brought in Benjamin Sesko, let's talk about what should happen with Rasmus Hojlund. We've had some interesting stories about his exit coming from Ben Jacobs, which we'll talk about as well. But yeah, listen, Manchester United, we've got Sesko over the line. Now let's go through what should happen with Hojlund. I think ultimately he would be sold. Now we know he wants to fight for his place, and we know that Manchester United don't really have an intention of selling him, unless obviously now they brought in Sesko, they kind of do need to sell him. I just don't think Hojlund will be happy as well with the amount of minutes he's going to get. But let's talk about it. So Manchester United value Hojlund at 40 million as they actively seek an exit, price up from 10 million from a previously understood 30 million number. Hojlund on record saying he wants to fight for his place at Manchester United. Leipzig discussed Hojlund. He also has Syria and Saudi interest as well. I think Hojlund's certainly an interesting conversation. He's had decent performances in pre-season, nothing outstanding, but decent performance. Again, I think with Hojlund, he's going to get limited minutes. I think now that we bought in Sesko, I think he will be leaving. Again, he's focused ultimately. He's a Man United fan. He wants to fight for his place. He wants to play for the team. But ultimately, we have to be honest. Do I think he's good enough? No, I don't. And I think what we've seen so far from him in the United shirt, we've probably seen the best of what you're going to get from Hojlund already. And again, it's nowhere near good enough. It was a big risk signing him, and we're doing the same with Sesko. But they are two very, very different players. Now, it's coming from Ben Jacobs. The Denmark striker is a player Manchester United wish to offload following the imminent arrival of Sesko from Leipzig. Manchester United have obviously agreed the fee with Leipzig. We want £40 million for him, which again would be good. It helps us potentially invest in Carlos Baleba in midfield as well. I think United do need to focus on outgoings. I mean, if you get 50 for Garnacho, 40 for Hojlund, that's 90 million generated on two players who ultimately don't really have much of a place in this team. They don't really fit the system, and I think that's something that United have to focus on. As much as we've been good with bringing in players like Cunha, like Mbeumo, like Diego Leon, like Sesko, now we have to be as good as getting players out, and I don't think that's something that we've been good at doing recently. I think last summer was good. We got, what was it, 30 million for McTominay, which is probably the most we got for a player in a while among other players, which I can't think of at the top of my head. But yeah, I would love for Hojlund to leave, and I think United should sell him. I think this is the right time to do it. We've bought in Sesko, who again is hopeful that could be the striker for Manchester United, and you get rid of Hojlund to a different club, and I think he will have a good career elsewhere, whether that's at a Leipzig or AC Milan, who've been linked with him, or a Saudi side. Like, he will do well there. And again, Sesko is a lot of pressure on him to come in, but again, with the Hojlund selling, he's got experienced players around him as well in Cunha and Mbeumo, as well as Bruno to help as well. He can share the load with Xerxes. And again, I think it makes sense to sell Rasmus Hojlund, and something that United will do. I don't think we need to have two players at that age fighting for the place at Manchester United. Sesko is the striker Amorim chose, and the striker Amorim wants to go forward with. So I don't see why you would want to sell or why you'd want to keep Hojlund around, because he's not going to get guaranteed minutes. And again, listen, Hojlund, he's had a decent time at United. The first season was well better than the second, but he just hasn't hit the standards that required of a United player. And he's had numerous opportunities, and again, he just hasn't hit up to them. So yeah, I would love to hopefully get some money for him that we can use to reinvest into the squad. And again, it's looking like Manchester United again selling for £40 million, which again will be a loss because we signed him for obviously 65, was it, or 75, ever in that region. But again, I think it's time to go, and I think with Hojlund, he just hasn't been good enough. And I think with clubs being interested, AC Milan are interested, Saudi sides. He scored 26 goals in 95 games, which again is not good enough. He was discussed as a separate deal for Sesko, but talks about understand Manchester United forward was not keen. If he departs, his preference would be make a return to Italy or to remain in the Premier League. Milan and Napoli are both interested, and they've made inquiries early in the window. There's Saudi interest as well. So there is interest in him. If you can get some money from him, it'd be good, potentially even a loan deal as well. But the idea would be get 30 million for Hojlund, and he does become a sellable asset now that you do bring in Sesko. There will be clubs interested in signing a striker, and someone like Hojlund is certainly a very, very interesting option to have. But let me know your thoughts.